really want to welcome you. I thank you all for being here. I promise to bring things that you've never heard of before that you can take and actually put into your own practice. Ways that you can not only help your clients, but also your family members, your friends, people who are connected. This is going to be information that is really can be shared, right? So tonight, right now, today, we're going to have what I call a shared reality. This is shared between all of us, and you can take it and share it from here. So that's really important, right? I'm going to teach from who I am, even though I do have a PowerPoint and I do have some little cards to remind me of the real important things I want to make sure that I share with you all. But I am going to teach from who I am. I'm not going to teach from a book. Right?
There you go.
I've been in ACT since 2008. Dr. Dennis Tersch, if you don't know who he is, you should write his name down. He wrote the foreword to my book, which I don't think I brought. How did that happen? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I was just going to show you all that we're in publication, so that's a pretty good thing. So anyway, Dr. Dennis Tersch was the first one who introduced me to acceptance and commitment therapy. He is from the CompassionateMind.com in New York City, right? So he's one of the biggies. And who she talked about, Dr. Kelly Wilson, Dr. Steve Hayes, Dr. Kevin Polk, these are the big puppies in ACT, the actual creators of it. The nice thing is as you begin to study ACT, you actually can have contact with these people, right? Just like we're doing this right now, this is the way it was for me when I met Kelly Wilson, when I met Stephen Hayes, right? So it's available to us besides through YouTube or this type of thing. You can actually meet the teachers, which is really, really good, to sit with them. Okay, so I welcome you. I'm hoping you all had a good night's sleep. I did not. Little transparency, had a couple of cramps in my leg in the middle of the night, had to get up and walk around the room, right? Going, oh my God. Which I think is probably from walking on the beach, not being used to beach. My calves went, hey, that's new, right? So, yes, I don't know. How about anybody, how many people here already understand or know ACT or have been in ACT? Anybody, some hands? 1, 2. Okay, so maybe 3 or 4 of us. So it's pretty good. We're brand new. That's a good thing, right? Newness is good. Right over here, I put my email, and I hope to get an email from all of you. I'll give it to you. You could write it down. It starts with the letter I. I-A-M. That means I am here. I-A-M. I am miracling. I'm producing miracles, and that's what I want for you all too, to be able to have miracles happen right in front of you, right while you're doing your therapy with your clients or your friends or your family, to be able to see the transformation right while you're working, right while you're being with them. So it's iammiracling@gmail.com. Okay? And we'll begin. Anybody have anything that you really, really need to have answered during this session? I think that if you would put it on a piece of paper and give it to me, or give it to Cynthia, my daughter, and then I will do everything I can to make sure I answer that. And of course, feel free to raise your hand during the session. Feel free to raise your hand and say, hey, Linda, or Miss Hamilton, or Miss Linda, whatever you want to call me is okay. I don't care. And I will be glad to respond that way also. Okay, so this is what I call Act 1, and we're going to have more than Act 1.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
We'll have
Oh, you're
Act
fine.
2 and other things. Again, I'm going to teach you some things that maybe you've never heard before, and you can always question me, and we can work through any kind of unclarity on what I teach. All right, so I guess we'll begin. I think I clicked the center one. Okay, I point here. Nope. Okay, anybody know how this works?
That's why I get James. I broke it 3 times yesterday. It's usually the buttons that go right and left.
Just hit page down.
Hit page down.
Yes.
I didn't want to do it that way.
Well, you know,
It didn't work. Okay, there we go. Thank you. The agenda, we're going to look at the introduction. Primary goals, the creators of ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy, the Hexaflex, 2 ways, 3 ways, 4 ways. In these next 3 days, I'm going to show you how to use the Hexaflex in a way you would never know, right? And then how to do it on a napkin, and then quotes by the dudes. It's always nice to know. This has got a clip. There we go. Okay, so acceptance and commitment therapy, you know, what does it do? What does it emphasize? Our primary way to deal with negative thoughts, negative feelings, negative emotions, how do we do that, right? With thoughts, feelings, and symptoms and circumstances. There we go. And it encourages an increased commitment to healthy, constructive, active values and goals, right? And that's what we want to do. We want to have a compass in our hand or in our heart, and we want to go towards, they call them values. I call it what matters. Go in the direction of what's important to you and what matters. And sometimes, right, you have to, as Steve Hayes would say, you have to be able to pivot, right? If all of a sudden you see you're going for, alcohol, drugs, sex, you got to be able to pivot and go the other way. And that's a lot what ACT is about, is learning how do I pivot. When? You have to learn to pivot in the present moment, right? That's the important part. How do I do it? When? Right here, right now. Can I do that? Right? So if you look at me, you know, okay, I'm breathing a little faster than normal. I can feel my heart beating a little bit more. So, how can I pivot? What can I do right now? I can pop my belly out. I can take a deep breath and pop my belly out. And that, by popping my belly out, even though, you know, girls aren't supposed to do that, we're supposed to walk around like this, right? I'm not doing that. Popping your belly out allows the cortisol and the adrenaline and any other chemical in your body mind that's been created by your brain, because my brain says, there's all these people looking at me, I'm nervous. And I pop my belly out and I go, no, I'm here. I'm here, everything's cool, right? And as I do that, I don't know who heard Jeff Georgie last night, but as we do it, we shift from the sympathetic nervous system that says I'm frightened to the rest and digest system, right? And when you move to the rest and digest system, the body begins to relax, right? And that's what you want it to do. You want it to be at ease. You don't want it always like this, right? You want it to be at ease. Let's see. There we go. And of course, the primary goal is understanding the Hexaflex, which I hope by the time we're done over these 3 days, you will be able to do the Hexaflex anywhere you are. You'll be able to do the Hexaflex in your mind, right? You'll be able to notice the direction you're going in. How do I pivot? What's the best pivot for me to do? So we're going to begin to use this brain that we have in our head, which is what I call a gold mine. Everybody's got a gold mine within their own brain, right? And we're going to learn to use it as a tool instead of it using us. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, at age 14, I was kind of gawky. You know, I didn't know that I was supposed to sit with my legs together. What's your name? Gary.
Derek.
Derek. Okay, Derek. I would sit like Derek, right? And my sister, who was 2 years older, would sit very nicely, and she would pose. And there's pictures of me. I look quite gawky, you know, with my legs, I got a skirt on, of course, but my legs are wide apart. I'm not doing like a girl is supposed to do back in the 1960s, right? So what do? I want to have friends, but I'm gawky. The kids at school looked at me like, who wants to hang out with her, right? So what happened is I saw these 3 girls and they were all smoking. And I thought, And I went over and I said, can I have a cigarette? And you know how we do. Well, of course they gave me a cigarette. I just about coughed myself to death with that first cigarette. But that began a 35-year pattern of a pack of smokes a day, right? Did I know how to pivot then? Absolutely not. Why did I do it? I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be like them. And it took a little bit to finally shake that loose and get rid of that pattern that was looping through my head for 35 years. These are how things happen to us. You know, it might be, well, I'll just go with how did I ever get into alcohol? Some of you may remember, oh my goodness, it just went right through my head. My mother always wore an apron. My father came home every night. He helped the neighbors. They were church people.
You mean Leave It to Beaver?
Leave It to Beaver. My parents were like Leave It to Beaver's parents. So I was raised in a totally different way than probably anybody in this room. We never saw each other without clothing. I didn't really know what a boy looked like until I married one. How do you like those kind of surprises, right? Oh my God. Is that real?
Oh my.
So I'm glad we're all regular human beings in the room and we know what I'm talking about. I'm not being rude or anything like that, hopefully. Yeah, so at 17, you know, we never had alcohol in our family. I found out later my father had a bottle of whiskey hidden in a cupboard for whenever he would get a cold. He would take a shot of whiskey. I never saw it, never heard of it, didn't know it until I was gone out of the house, right? So there's a picture I found of myself at age 17, and I'm with my father-in-law. And what is he doing? He's hooking arms with me, and he's giving me my first shot of alcohol at 17. And that's where my little trip with alcohol started. Right? Of course, one shot is nothing, but over the years, there's more than one shot, right, that you get. So things happen to us at a young age, which we've heard in this group, and we all know that. But we don't know how to change it. And ACT, Learning Acceptance and Commitment Therapy, which is called ACT, not ACT. Steve Hayes gets really uptight if somebody calls it ACT. I don't know why it's a pet peeve of his, but acceptance and commitment therapy, the whole idea is to learn how can we change our mind, how can we change our behavior, and how can we do it quickly, right? 35 years before I was done with smoking, 375,642 cigarettes, right? And now I can help a person stop smoking, vaping, or dipping in less than 30 minutes. And I promise to teach you how to do that with your clients. Not today, but within the next couple of days, I will actually give you the formula for helping people. And Donna Brown from North Carolina Substance Abuse Professional Practice Board, she said to me the other day, Linda, if that works with vaping, smoking, and dipping, won't it work with alcohol and drugs? Right? And I said, it should. The only difference is that people who are vaping, smoking, and dipping, even though nicotine is affecting them, it's not affecting them like alcohol or drugs would affect their brain, right? So in working with a person with alcohol or drugs, you want to make sure that they're clear, that they're present with you, you know, that they're not intoxicated, if you're going to actually do the change work that I'm referring to. So again, hopefully everybody will understand the Hexaflex when we're done to where you could actually dance it, right? And I can dance it. I know how that sucker works, right? Yep, start again. Oh no. All right, try it again. There we go. So the creators of ACT, and I'm very fortunate I've gotten to know each and every one of them. The man on the right is Dr. Stephen Hayes, a brilliant, brilliant man. And he's actually taking and expanding acceptance and commitment therapy, which I'll bring it in to our training. And it's called the Evolutionary Expanded Meta Model. What that means is they're going beyond what we're going to teach today. But I'm going to bring that in so you have some idea of what's happening right now in the field of acceptance commitment therapy. Because it's only, I think it hasn't even hit the internet yet. It hasn't even got to social media. I just happen to have an in where all of a sudden I got the new information. So I want to bring that to you. He is brilliant. He has created a app. I think it's called PsychFlex. I think that's what it's called. So you can have an app on your phone. The great thing about the app, of course it costs money, all of this stuff does, is that you can send practices to your clients. You can set up a group, like say my groups. If I have 9 people in the group, I can then the next day send all 9 of them in one swoop a practice of acceptance commitment therapy that they will practice throughout the week. And then when they come back to group, they'll say, oh, Miss Linda, I did this, it didn't work. What do I need to do? How do I tweak it? That kind of thing. So here's, I think it's called PsychFlex. I'll make sure I get the name right before. It's really brand new. It's only a few years old. Not even a few years old, maybe a year old that they've had it. And it really offers us a tool to help our clients if indeed you want to be an ACT trainer, right? And you can do that. You can study acceptance and commitment therapy with them, the big boys, right? And you can become certified, you can become a trainer in ACT, and you can, reach out in the world and coach people that way too, besides just working with your clients or a one-on-one practice, right? Kelly Wilson, you ought to look him up. He's on YouTube. Most people, when we're in Kelly's class, will cry, and Kelly will cry. It's just the way it is. He's a wonderful, wonderful teacher. He's brilliant. And if you go on social media, you will find pictures. Is that me?
No, it's not you.
Okay, thank you. You'll find pictures of Kelly Wilson at around age 30, and he looks like your average stoner heroin addict, right? And just like we heard, those of you who were in this room last night or yesterday afternoon, and we heard Jeff talking about the lady with the crooked finger, right? The same thing happened to Kelly Wilson. Somebody saw something in Kelly that Kelly didn't see in himself, and they said, come on, we're going to bring you on, we're going to hire you. And Diana, his wife, has been with him ever since, from the very first beginning. And they did. They hired him, they brought him in, and they said, I think you could do this, we're going to put you in college. They put him through college at their cost, right? And then somehow he met Steve Hayes. And between Steve Hayes, Kelly Wilson, and Dr. Kirk Strassel, we now have acceptance and commitment therapy, which is, for me, when I met Dennis Church and I heard him share, and I saw what he was doing with it, I said, this is for me. This I can do, and I not only can do it, but I can do it well. That's the thing that happened for me. I got confidence, and I'm competent in what I'm doing. And I want that for all of you also. Although I would suggest that what you get today or on the next couple of days, you're just beginning to dip your toes in the water of acceptance commitment therapy. You'll want to find other people to study from, maybe even the big boys, right? Kelly Wilson's webpage is One Life, onelife.com. I'm pretty sure that you can look that up. Kirk Strassel and his wife, Patricia Robinson, created what they call FACT, F-A-C-T. And that's how to do ACT in 15 minutes. Why? Because that's the kind of clients that Kirk Strassel has. He works in hospital settings. He does not know that he's going to see those people again. So he does everything he can within the first 15 minutes, and he tells them that. We've got 15 minutes to be together. I may never see you again. I want to give you what is going to be helpful to you, and then he brings that forth from them, what they need. Now you can even look it up on YouTube, it's there, right? So there is a book called FACT that he and his wife have created, and very, very helpful. Who I don't have here, but I will do that tomorrow, is Dr. Kevin Polk. And he created what is called the ACT Matrix, okay, which is different than the Hexaflex. It is the Hexaflex, but it's much simpler, right, to look at. So I will bring in information, you know, and if I say I'm going to do it and I don't do it, hold me accountable. Hey Linda, what about, what was his name? Kevin Polk. Weren't you going to tell us about Kevin Polk? Weren't you going to bring something in? I want you to hold me accountable for what I say I'm going to do, right? Because, I don't know if you know, but Paul in the Bible said many, many thousands of years ago, right? I'm doing everything I don't want to do, and instead of doing what I want to do, something of that nature, right? And that's happening to all of us, you know, just like me, just like you. We're all the same. We're all doing things we don't want to do, but we're doing them anyway, right? And so how can we circumvent that? How can we unhook from behaviors that we don't want to be doing, but we're doing it anyway, right? An example right there, Cynthia, if you would open that book of love, take that napkin off that plate. Take that napkin off of there. Open that napkin. Open that plate. That is me doing what I don't want to do.
But you're doing it anyway.
But I'm doing it anyway. What is it? It's cake. I really don't eat gluten. Oh, but I'm here at the conference. I can have that piece of bread. Oh, that looks really good. Oh, it's got chocolate. Chocolate's good. Do you hear my rationalization, justification of why I should eat that cake?
Sounds like you're in Rome. When in Rome, do as the Roman do.
Do as the Roman do, right?
You want us to hold you accountable, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Throw it away.
So, and I want you to know and realize, and I know you know this, this isn't new. Your clients, people who come to you for help, are doing what they don't want to do, but they're doing it anyway. Right? One of my clients was on a run for, I think it was heroin or fentanyl, right? And everything in his body, mind, brain said, get it. I need it. I have to have it. Against all things. He got run over by a truck, burned on his back from the exhaust pipe. He got to the dealer before he got to the hospital. Right? He's sober and clean now. But that's how strong that brain of his said, we got to do this. So that he couldn't stop that, right? He couldn't stop that behavior, even with something as terrible as a third-degree burn or whatever it was on. He's got a beautiful scar. A good remembrance, right? So we're really up against a rock and a hard spot. How do we stop doing what we don't want to do? Especially when we catch ourselves doing it anyway. And how can we do it without guilt? How can we do it without shaming ourselves? How can we do it because we want to? Without any guilt or shame or fear or suffering. Right? Can we do that? And the answer is yes, we can. And ACT will help us do it. And it will help our clients do the same thing. So just like you, I am, right? I am just like you. We all have this difficulty, and we're Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens sapiens. That means we can think, right? The extra sapien there. Homo sapiens sapiens. Right? We got this thing in here that can do something. So, okay, let me see this. Okay. The official definition, the goal of ACT is to increase psychological flexibility. We're going to go beyond that, right? As we go through these classes, we're going to go beyond psychological flexibility. But in the beginning, this is what you want to learn. How do I do this in here, right? It's the ability to contact right where you are right now. Everybody right now is right here in the present moment. This is it. This is the present moment, right? Contact it. And the psychological reactions that it produces as a fully conscious human being. What does that mean? Right? How can I contact it and the psychological reactions it produces? Well, I was in the present moment, and I shared with you I was getting nervous, right? Oh, and if you want this PowerPoint, you should definitely email me, because it's not being sent out, right? So I used my 5 senses. I looked around the room, I said I'm safe. I popped my belly out, I said, you take a deep breath, Linda, everything's okay. I noticed my psychological, my emotional reactions that were going on in the moment, and I decided, how can I show up as a conscious, fully human being without those experiences, right? And I can tell you they're gone. I don't feel anxious, I don't feel afraid, will I make a mistake? Of course I will. You're gonna hope I make a mistake, aren't you? Okay, and now, just send it through it again, maybe point here, no, I'm good. And based on the situation, to persist or change the behavior as the situation calls for, or for what matters to me. And what matters to me in this present moment is that I can stand here as relaxed as possible. I don't want to fall on the floor. Relaxed as possible, and share with you the knowledge that I'm bringing to you. Right? That's what matters to me, or that is my value end. Right? It's my values. Or you could say, this is the outcome that I want. Right? And look at yourself right now. Are you in the state of mind that you want? Are you at ease? Are you open to learning? Is your mind open? Is your heart open? Is your gut open? Are you here? Right? Are your 5 senses tintillating? Right? And hopefully the answer is yes. I did forget. All right, there we go. So here's your hexaflex. Oh, we're going to have a pause for the cause. I forgot. But at age 82, you can forget.
Can I have your water over here?
And it's okay. It's okay to forget. Even if you're not 82, forget anyone. So what I did is I brought this wonderful, and I just want us to listen to the sound for a moment. I'll hold it up. And then if you can, listen till you can't hear it anymore. Let me say, can you back there, you all hear me well? Oh, good. I used to be a singer, so I could project my voice out there. All right, so this little thing, my daughter Valerie found at a yard sale. Turns out it's worth about $2,000, and you can only get them in China. And the Chinese monks run through the streets going, get a little brass bowl. Right? You get a little, I know, I dropped into my heart and so my voice went down. I'm sorry, I'll bring it back up. Right? And when you hear the gong like that, or you do it I do this every day with myself, right? And you listen till it stops, as soon as it goes quiet, you will drop from your head to your heart. You'll take the elevator down and open from here, right? Which is where you want to come from. You don't want to come from here. You don't want to be dependent on your brain, unless you're doing math. You want to be dependent on being here, being in the present moment. So hopefully somebody will hold me accountable, because I would like to start the session tomorrow or this afternoon with a meditation, just a few moments of being still with one another. Okay, back to the hexaflex. As you can see, values and contact with the present moment, or what matters. I'm not that value-y. I'm not necessarily too hooked into the word of values, so I use matters. What matters is the commitment to behavior change processes in your mind, in your brain. These three, this thing does not have a light, maybe it does.
You need another one, Miss Lynn?
Pardon?
You need another one?
No, I just thought maybe it had a little red light, but it doesn't matter. I'll just walk over here and I'll do it this way. Okay, so you've got the present moment, you've got your what matters, or your values and committed actions. That's what creates the change process. You want to be aware of those three things. And on the other side, you have acceptance, diffusion, and self as context. Self as context is actually divided into three things. Self as context, self as content, that's what I'm speaking, right? This is the context. And then self as process, because your brain is processing the information. So they break it into three selves. And as you can see, courtesy of Dr. Kelly Wilson, because I had to, even though these are on the internet, I asked for permission to use them, okay? Now, is that it? Nope, this is it, nope. I don't know how this thing works.
You'll get it.
Huh?
You'll get it.
Yeah, you never know. I don't know, maybe I turned it off or something. I don't know. Anybody here know how these things work? Let's try this. Oh, did it wrong. Okay, we'll get it.
There you go.
Okay.
You got it?
Now this is, yes I do, thank you so much.
I got your bag, I got your bag.
I didn't know you were right there. I got you. This is live, folks.
It's not Memorex.
Webinar.
It's not Memorex.
This is not Memorex, and we are not on Zoom. So again, now you have the inflexible. Maybe I should have called that the unflexible. I'm not sure if the in. Did I get that right? In or un?
We'll go with that.
Either works.
Either way, you know, the uncola. Right? I guess maybe you guys don't have that here.
The unhexaflex.
Yeah, the unhexaflex. The uncola, of course, is Sprite or no. 7-Up. 7-Up. Do they sell 7-Up here? In North Carolina? I have. Yeah. Okay. So how did they do that? How did they get famous? They took the un and stuck it onto the cola. They took two letters and said, we're going to call our thing the uncola, which is going to make everybody go, what? And 7-Up went right to the top. So what I want you to understand and learn the inflexible hexaflex, right? Let's see, was it here? No, I did it again. I'll get it. Nope. What happened? There we go. Okay, so the present moment is colored by past and future. And that's what's dominating our consciousness, right? Oh my God, I really hope I don't relax, because in the past I've done it so many, and I don't know. Oh, and so we're nervous and frightened and upset in more ways than one, based on fear of the past, coming again in the future. And you know as well as I do, we're taught that you have to, how does it go? You have to remember the past so you don't
Repeat it in the future.
create it in the future. That's what they're telling us. But the reality is, we learned it backwards. You have to live in the present moment so that you can notice, what is my body brain doing? And then, is that what I want it to do? Now that right there is a major act move, right? What is my body brain doing? What is it suggesting? What is it making my body feel like? Is it making me pull me towards, what we call the addiction? Is it doing that? And if it is, what do I need to do? What can I do via the Hexaflex to change that when? In the present moment that it's happening, not after. I have a guy called me last week, and he says, oh, I relapsed. I said, you're supposed to call me before the relapse. Oh, I forgot. Well, at least he called me, right? At least he called me. Well, that's what we want to prevent, right? For our own, there's not much prevention work going on, but we want to learn to prevent relapse. We want to learn to prevent doing what we don't want to do, right? So, it's past and future is what people are doing in the present moment. By the way, you're here, and you're going to learn things that 8 billion people don't know. That's going to put you at the head of the line to be able to turn around to as many as you can and help them. Because you're going to walk away with internal knowledge that you can immediately offer, no matter who it is, right? And without creating guilt or shame or fear or any of that in them, right? Because you are aware of, oh, just like me. He is just like me. And we're both in the present moment. He has difficulties, I have difficulties. How can we come together and share a reality that changes the difficulties? When? In the present moment. Not in the future. You cannot change anything in the future. And as far as we know, the future doesn't exist. I hope you're all good with that one. And as far as we know, the past does not exist. You remember stuff, you have memory of stuff, but the past itself does not exist at all. All we have is the present moment. This is it. And when I say this is it, I mean this is it like a snowflake. Right? The snowflake doesn't have a past, it doesn't have a future, it is just right now. And just like Kirk Strassel, right? I may never see you again. That's the reality. So I want to share and receive, back and forth, give and receive whatever is going to be helpful to all of us. Just in case I don't see you again. Right? Isn't it? And what would we want to share? What would we want to share amongst each other if we were not ever going to see each other again? Anybody got an idea?
Love.
Thank you. Yes, love. Love. Right? We want to share love with one another. But to do that, we have to open the heart. We have to let down the drawbridge. We've got to take the armor off the heart. And I can say that, whether you know it or not, just your presence here changes everything. It changes the field we're in. And when one person exits, the field changes. And when they come back, the field changes again. The field of awareness, the field of the present moment. So you want to get used to the idea until it's an actual experience that this is it. The present moment is it. And then we're not worried about the future and how am I going to get there and how can I compete and how can I challenge. And based on the past, I was never successful, so I'm not going to do it again. Right? So there's that sense of failure, sense of loss. When you're living in the present moment, that's called vertical living. That's what I call it. You're living vertically, you're not living horizontally. All right, you're living here and now. And that opens a lot. So, okay. Nope. Nope. Oh God. Okay, now I might need your help. Okay, we're back. Somebody teach me how to use this thing, because obviously I'm not doing it right.
Well, you were doing great. What'd you change?
I have no idea. I'm talking. I'm just doing what I'm doing. Okay, here comes the expert. Thank
No,
you.
I'm the expert. We gotta figure this out together.
Okay, yep. We're gonna go to the in exaflex. There we go. Okay.
This button.
The one on right there.
Just keep your finger on the trigger right there.
Where?
This one.
That one.
Yeah, let's
All
practice.
right.
Let's
All
practice.
right. Woo.
Let's practice.
Blinded by the light. I saw that, but I was blinded for a moment, right? Which I'll just bring in another. How did I get here? Right? How did I get here? Well, I fell off a bar stool. You know, how did that happen? That happened in 1979, 1978, sometime over there, right? And how did that occur, right? It occurred by a voice in my chest that said, I gotta get out of here. And in the mirror behind the bar, where I sat with the man that I married from the bar, was an old woman, and no one would buy her a drink. And I'm drunk. And I'm looking at this old woman, which is what? My future. If I stay on that bar stool, that's my future. I'm 30-something years old. The voice in my chest says with great urgency, I gotta get out of here, I gotta get out of here. I'm pretty well looped, right? I'm pretty well lit. And my head turns to the man that I'm married to, and that voice spoke out my mouth. And it said, I gotta get out of here, I gotta get out of here. And he said, I'm not going. The stool swiveled, my feet hit the floor, headed for the red drape, and I was blinded by the light. And that was the end of that.
Because it was 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yes, it was. Thank you. She would remember.
I wasn't there. I love this story.
Anyway, needless to say, I was blinded by the light. It took me over an hour to find my car because I was drunk. Did I drive and drink? Absolutely I did. Or did I drink and drive? Absolutely I did. Right? Probably 5,000 times. Whoever knows who can count how many times that happened. But at that night, I'll share with you, I'm standing on the, it's raining, and I'm on the corner on a hill, and I'm yelling at God, do something. I had enough clarity to know I wanted my life to be different. I didn't know that he had already done the shift. He had already made the change, and I never went back again. I never entered that bar again. I was off Skid Row, San Diego. I got my kids into school, I got myself in a house and a car and a job, and I got to this point right here. No different than Kelly Wilson, except until I met Dennis Tersch, I didn't really have the crooked finger lady or somebody saying, hey, come on, let me pull you up. Right? I had to figure out a way to pull myself up with 4 kids, which I did pretty good, as far as I'm concerned. So, again, did I know any of this then? Absolutely not. I knew nothing. I went to work at Volunteers of America. We would call me a career support worker back in 1979. And how did I get a job there? I got a job there because I was sober. Because I had the experience and they felt I could help others. And they ended up creating, Linda actually, Burdesky was my name then, a counselor. And they said, you go teach these people. I had nothing. So I created something, I called it Dynamic Living. And I created a 6 weeks, we're gonna do this for 6 weeks, and You know, and needless to say, some of those people are still my friends today. And that's 40 years later. Some of them are not alive anymore.